Is everybody ready? Okay. When I was 22 years old, I got a glimpse of the second largest penis I would ever see. And it changed my life forever. I'm sorry, my husband is here tonight. Let me start again. When I was 22 years old, I got a glimpse of the second largest penis I would ever see, and it changed my life forever. Like, we all know that penis sizes are emotional measures. The significance really came from what I learned to do to that penis. The one in the story, not my husband's. Round of applause for my mother-in-law who's here tonight. Thank you. I have some explaining to do. It's not what you think. It was at a job interview and I should have expected it based on the Craigslist etc. jobs ad. It read, personal care attendant needed, PCA, personal care attendant needed for me and occasionally my girlfriend. Great job for a medical or nursing student. No experience necessary, will train the right person. Was I the right person? Well, at 22, I was not a medical student. I had dropped out of college to homeschool myself through an independent marijuana study. But I was thinking a lot about going to massage school. So I applied and I felt pretty qualified. I still felt pretty qualified when I showed up at the observation interview and I met the well-dressed man in the power wheelchair. For the sake of his privacy and my story, we're going to call him Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln explained that he used a power wheelchair and employed PCAs because he had had a spinal cord injury when he was younger, and now he couldn't feel anything from the chest down. And then Abraham Lincoln introduced me to a young woman standing nearby as one of his best PCAs, and the observation interview began. I watched her, and I felt fine at first, seeing her make dinner and sort his mail from the Ivy League job that he had. But then, the interview progressed to a level of medical sophistication that my thoughts of going to massage school did not emotionally prepare me for. And I tried to be cool as I watched the best PCA nonchalantly undress Abraham Lincoln, open a series of sterile pieces of medical equipment, and just casually perform a plumbing procedure on what I've already given away was the second biggest penis I ever saw. I started to worry about, well, what my face was doing. It was doing this. And I started to worry that my overexpressive face was going to sabotage my chances of getting this job, which I actually really needed. I didn't need it for the money. I had a job that made money. I worked at a help desk for a big investment banking firm and said the same thing into a phone all day long. It was like, Boston call center. This is Amanda speaking. How can I help you? I was so bored. I did it that sexy every time. And I had started calling out sick a lot. So if I didn't get a different job, a job that made me feel like I mattered and I couldn't call out sick, then I was really headed for trouble. So I stood there in the room, struck by how much this Craigslist etc. job actually mattered. I dug deep and was like, get it together, Amanda. You've learned how to do things to penises in much more frivolous contexts, and for no compensation at all. And by some miracle, I controlled my face to just open nods. And at the end of the night, Abraham Lincoln invited me to be his PCA. And I didn't become his best PCA. I showed up late a lot. But when I was there, I worked hard and I focused and took it very seriously. And I did become a 22-year-old college dropout who could safely insert a catheter into the second biggest penis she had ever seen, as if it was no big thing at all. And I know that it showed and that I was good enough, because when I decided not to go to massage school, comfort with a penis on the job is not a good look for a massage therapist. And instead to move back home and try real college again, Abraham Lincoln told me he would be glad to recommend me as a PCA to other people. And that was how I met a girl my own age. I'm going to use her real name because I got permission to do that. Her name is Robin Powell, and when I met her, she was my age, but she'd already graduated from college and was working as a social worker and applying to law school. And we used to joke that she was the brains of the operation and I was the muscle, but if you Google her today, you'll find that it wasn't a joke, because she's like this well-respected attorney and scholar and prolific writer. And if you Google me today, you'll find that I'm in Funnybones, the Milton Arts Center. But back then, neither of us were really distinguished with anything. We used to just hang out, and she dragged me all over the South Shore to see her favorite band, these hard-rocking local dudes called Didn't Plan It. And I liked them enough. She loved them. But what I really liked was the look of the bass player. And one night we were there and we got the exciting news that he had just taken his wedding ring off because it was over that day. And she egged me on until I went up to him during a break and I talked to him. And he did not seem interested. But I was aggressive. And even though I didn't ask him for any of my contact information, I made him find an email list so that I could give it to him. Later that week, his brother and bandmate sent out a mass email to all the people on the email list. And I wrote back, "Take me off your stupid email list." And lucky for me, he went to his brother and he was like, "Hey Pat, you know that girl you were talking to who wanted to be on the email list? She didn't want to be on the email list." And Pat sat down and wrote me a personal email. And that was 15 years ago. We just celebrated our 10th wedding anniversary. Sorry, I'm gonna cry. I always make myself cry because my stories are so good. And today we have an amazing 9-year-old daughter who would never have been born if I hadn't grown a pair when I was 22 and become a PCA.